We are live on all platforms. Woohoo! Hello, hello, hello. Incredible greetings. Incredible greetings. Ooh, my notification came up kind of fast for one of my YouTube channels. Awesome, awesome. I normally don't get my notifications that fast. Hopefully that means that people will be able to jump on a lot sooner because notifications seem to be going out quicker. But I've also been gone for a couple of days. Like I haven't really been like active online for well over a week. So we'll see how this goes. Aw, thank you. I missed y'all too. Last week was the kids' spring break, so I kind of took it easy to be more present at home, even though I was working on stuff on the back end. But I just didn't go live as much as like that because both of the kids were home. Um, so let's see. All right, there we go. Now I can share this out. I hate the fact that like now the way that my groups used to be and all of my groups used to be at the top. Now I have to go search for them to be able to share it out, which is kind of weird to me. Uh-oh. So just give me a second. So as you guys come in, drop a hey, how you doing? Let me know where you are watching from. Um, we'll just kind of get it started too. So, some of you guys already know what programs and things that I pretty much teach from. But if you're new here, also go ahead. Let me know what is that you do in the creative space, and also what programs you use. Okay. Hey, Anthony, I'll talk about that. Anthony says, "Where have I been?" That's actually a trend from about two. That trend is probably about 2 years old now. It is not anything that is new. I think. Well, I'm not gonna say that because last year it blew up due to TikTok, but it had actually been around. It's probably been 3 years now. This is probably the third year that people were doing the vending machines. It was a lot bigger last year, and then, obviously even bigger this year. So, yes, definitely double tap the screen, give the video a like as you guys come in. If you're watching it over on YouTube, you will need to click out of the live chat in order to be able to like the video, possibly share the video out. Make sure that you are subscribed. Okay. So let me see. Um, All right, so there's my post. Let me go ahead and copy this so that I can post it in all of the groups. Let's go share. If you guys are able to share in a group, I would greatly appreciate if they allow for sharing of things like this. Would greatly appreciate a share. Oh, you got to be kidding me. It didn't. I'm like, I know I hit copy, but it did not copy the post. Like, that is so annoying. So annoying. Now I have to go into my group to try and copy that post that I just made, because I hit Control C, but it didn't copy. I swear, technology. That's technology for you. If you are watching the playback of this, this is a live broadcast. So no, we do not jump right into it. I'm just gonna be very honest. I get so sick and tired, and I delete a lot of those comments where it's like, "Oh my God, there's so much stuff. Why can't you just get to it?" And I'm like, "You're watching the playback. You were here late. You didn't click on our live video and watch it live." So when I'm starting out, like, I can't just jump into it. We have to wait for an audience to build. We're doing intros. We're sharing things out, and I do all this myself. I don't have an engineer that is doing all of this for me. So I'm, on here, I'm sharing it out. I do act, and I have to do that part myself because I ask people to share. Even if you're sharing it back to my own groups, the more it's in the group, like, it'll help with the algorithm. So I'm not saying that you have to share it to your own page, although why not? You guys share so many other things that might not be relevant to everybody that's on your page, but it might catch the attention of someone. Or just even if you just share it back to my own group, that helps. Especially, some people don't like to add everyone, but if more people are sharing the same thing in my own groups, it makes it to where other group members can see it. And I mean, I would like for the people in my group to be a little bit more involved and be able to be on the broadcast. I like being able to answer questions and things like that from my group. I'm finding that the majority of the help that I am providing is actually to other groups. And I kind of don't like that. Like, I have my own community. Like, I don't mind being in other groups and helping out and sharing my knowledge and expertise in other spaces, but I would like to be able to do more of it in my own groups. I hope you guys don't think that my groups are just for me to share my live videos or just to promote, what we have going on here as a company. That it's essentially, it's a craft group. I laugh at that, and if you're new here, I'll tell you why the laugh came with that. And I'm trying so hard, y'all, to lean into the craft part of it and trying to not necessarily feel like a hypocrite, because I craft, but it's not like, for what I teach you guys and what we do on these platforms, it's not, to me, it's not really like crafting per se. I don't think it did add everyone on the last post, but we'll see. I think it just kind of copied whatever. So, all right, let me get through this intro real quick, and then I'm going to explain why I chuckled at the whole craft thing. All right, so hello, everyone. My name is Shakeya Lavelle. I am known to you guys as Shakeya the Professor. Someone asked me on TikTok, like, what school did you go to? What college did you graduate from? How were you a professor? And this is a name that I was blessed with because of how I teach, the knowledge that I have, the fact that I am a sponge for information and also providing that information. The amount of information that can be stored in my brain is kind of amazing to me sometimes. And I just love gathering information, sharing information over the years. I mean, the number of things that I've just kind of learned about over the years, it's so many different spectrums. And because of that, because I am someone that researches a lot and just learns a lot and delivers a lot of information, that is the name that I was blessed with as, just being the professor. And I teach. I started saying a few years ago, I don't necessarily do tutorials anymore. I teach, I educate. Henceforth, the professor. Instead of saying Shakeya, the teacher, there was a period during the pandemic where being a coach had negative connotations to it. Everyone was, well, I'm gonna say everyone, but a lot of people looked at when people call themselves a coach and things like that, and like across all types of industries. And even though that's kind of like what you would do, but that whole word about that title, not the word, the title of a coach had a very negative connotation, like a little bit after the pandemic. And what Shakeya did not want to be associated with was that culture. So we don't use the word coach. Teacher just sounds kind of, so it's Shakeya the professor. But I am well trained in the world of all things creative and crafty, design programs, everything from designing or doing things in like not Adobe, Microsoft platforms like Word. I can create an Excel spreadsheet like nobody's business. That's actually how I started my business, and inventory and invoices and just calculating things. I would create these major, like these very complex Excel spreadsheets. I used to create access databases. I really, really dived into that. And I really feel like I missed my mark when it came to those things. I was doing it more so for myself. I did not understand back then the power of the knowledge that I have, and that I would just sit in front of the computer for hours and hours and hours, like mastering access and creating databases, mastering Excel and creating spreadsheets and formulas and things like that. I didn't realize that skill. And now I feel like it's kind of a lost skill because there's so many other things technology wise, especially now with like we're in the age of AI. So I sometimes always feel like I kind of sort of missed the mark on, that knowledge and didn't really understand it back then. I'm trying my best now to learn how to leverage the knowledge that I have and not look back years from now and feel like, dang it, I missed the mark again. I have all this stuff. So I'm always like sharing. But every design program or just, I still consider it to be like a design program because you're designing works, you're designing spreadsheets, you're designing databases. But Photoshop, Illustrator, Silhouette Studio, Canva, I'm well versed in those things. I'm well versed in a lot of things, creative things that we make with our hand. Paper crafting is my passion. That's what I really started a lot of this stuff with. Paper crafting, spray paint, and glue. If I have paper, spray paint, and glue, I promise you, there is nothing that I cannot create. I could probably build a whole house that is livable for my family with spray paint, glue, and paper. I'm telling you, and cardboard boxes. Oh man, when my husband, when we were at the arena, the amount of boxes that I would have this man bring home was ridiculous. Like our house had so much. I used to watch YouTube videos and to think that I would be the person to like make furniture out of like cardboard boxes and pallets, like the wood pallets. Oh my gosh, like our whole house probably would have been DIY. Leave it up to me. But anywho, that's just a little bit about who I am. I love to come on here and share my knowledge and expertise on a detail level, but not as detailed as my classes. We do have classes. Our company is called HS Inc. That is short for honestly speaking, but it's a little play on words. We have, you can see up there, INK in the, let me flip y'all around over here. Hold on. So now y'all can read that correctly. So it's a little play on words because we do sell ink for sublimation and pigment ink and also sublimation paper. I got that name because that's what I do. I speak open, honest, and raw. It may not be what you want to hear. I am not going to be the sunshine and rainbows all the time and tell you, you can do it. It's for everyone. Just put your mind to it. I really think that attitude hurts us more than it helps us because everyone has limitations. There's limitations to literally everything. There really is. And you can put your mind to, you can be so determined, but there are going to be some things that's just outside of your wheelhouse. It's going to be outside of your capabilities, whether it is just the way your lifestyle is set up. If you have a lot of responsibilities, you have children, you're doing this, that, and that. Like you're not going to be able to do everything. time limits us on what we are able to do. There's only so many hours in the day. We all have the same amount of hours, but we have different tasks, different responsibilities. So to say if you just put your mind to it, you can, no. That to me, that is setting yourself up for disappointment. Like when you can't do it, you set out to do all of these things, and then when it's not done, you end up feeling a type of way. So I have a different approach, to things. And when it comes to like this whole crafting and creative thing, people feel like, oh, I'm creative. I'm great with my hands. I have a great imagination. I want to start a business. I want to do these things. And there are limitations. And sometimes your limitations can be like, you can overcome those limitations getting the proper education, the proper training. But like where you're at, just because you see somebody else do it, doesn't mean that you are going to be able to do it at the moment that you see it. You may have to put in just as many years of work to get to where they are at. So I'm definitely not that person that's going to come on here and I'm going to be motivated. Like I do feel like if it's something that you desire to do, as long as you're willing to get the right information, spend the time doing it, get a full understanding of it, yes, you can do those things that you desire to do, but it's not going to be instant. So I am not that instant gratification person. I'm going to give you the real on things. And because of that, that's where our name came from, honestly speaking. So we still say it speaking, but it's a little play on words with the ink in the middle. We also are the home of 365 Creative Academy. That is our online academy where we help you to unlock your creativity. I do believe that everybody is creative. There is a level of creativity in every single person. As parents, we become very creative in how we raise our children, especially if you have multiple children. It's different raising one child versus another. Our communication styles, we have to be very creative with that. I am a wife. I have to be creative in some of my desires and like requests of my husband, and he may not understand. So I got to be real creative about how I present it. A lot of the times making him feel like it was his idea, but it was really mine, it was orchestrated by me, but I just got to plant those seeds. So we all have a level of creativity. You just got to unlock it. And that's what I'm here for. Okay. So we have that. Most of you guys know me from my teachings for Silhouette Studio. So Silhoueholics Anonymous, it still is a part of our brand and who we are, but that is associated with like that particular company. I felt like it was kind of taking over. And we are our own business. We do teach Silhouette heavy. I believe that for a crafter or for a beginner, Silhouette is one of the best things that you can invest your time into learning. As a whole, their whole entire ecosystem, I don't think they even realize what they have on their hands, because the machines allow you to create things that are just absolutely amazing, like in your home. And they're really great machines, great for print cuts. We actually just did, I'm gonna just hold this one. This is not the one we did last night. Okay, here it is. We just did some fans last night in my class. So having a machine that, or just a system where you can fully create a design, like this was fully created in Silhouette Studio, so was this, and you're able to set that up and have that machine cut it out for you and to produce something that is so great, so beautiful, that will be a keepsake for someone. I mean, I think it's just absolutely amazing. Like you can't print and cut this in the other program, like the max size that we were able to do with this. You wouldn't be able to do that. Even with the new changes within Cricut, you still would not be able to do something at this scale. And to have a program that has so many graphic designing capabilities, everything from being able to do text, manipulate text, edit points, being able to trace things, modify colors, change hues and saturations, change contrast, make things grayscale, take out the transparency, scale patterns. Man, I'm trying to think what else. I mean, it's just so much that you can do for free. You don't even have to purchase their machine to download the program and have access to all of these design features that are in some of the the industry standard, like top tier programs, they're packaged in Silhouette Studio. And then you combine that with the machine. I think just like their entire system is amazing. I just wish that they would market more. They would bring influencers in, like for real, who are doing amazing things. The things that I see people create with Silhouette Studio and their machines, 3D models, things for parties, things for memorials, just regular shirts, inspirational things, motivational, educational. I know teachers, I've taught teachers to where they've implemented this in their classrooms so that they can create decorations, they can create learning modules and things like that for their students. The possibilities are absolutely endless, and I will forever sing their praises, even though they don't acknowledge me, because for my community, I know the power of it. And I'm just here to share my experience. I started this 10 years ago. And I have been, 10 years strong. Every time I get a memory in Facebook, I'm like, wow. And to know that I've been very consistent with the messaging and not switching up just because trends and things like that change. That's the other thing. I'm not a trend follower. I will definitely set trends, but I'm not a trend follower for most things. So that's just a little bit about me. If you have never seen my content before, it's just a little bit about me. I'm on. I used to say I'm on all the time, but I am scaling back now. 10 years is a really long time. I'm always feeling like I have nothing else to talk about because I don't know what else to talk about. Some people, there's things that I can teach, but that wouldn't benefit me any. The same way you guys have businesses or you're wanting to develop businesses where you're selling the items that you create. I create information. I create knowledge. And that is a part of our business. And I sell that information. I sell that knowledge and I sell that expertise. So one of the things that I'm learning, I have to kind of be like Cookie Lion. I got to choose me. Yeah, she told Lucius. And that's one thing, like I had to kind of have a reset to really be okay with that. I had to go through therapy to really be okay with that. That I'm the same way that you guys are building a business. I'm building a business on just my ability to process information, and I can present it because I'm also a part of this community, this world of creating and like printing and stuff like that. I can present this information in a way where it's going to be digestible for a creative. You go other places and it's like, they're saying the same thing, but you don't quite understand it until someone who speaks your language can really break it down. And so I'm in the process, which this past 2 weeks has definitely helped with coming on and being just very intentional in what I do when I come on here. We've been working on like a directory of videos that I have already and just being able to direct you guys to that if you desire not to take any classes with us. But I really, really, really want to build. I've been talking about it for so long, but 365 Creative Academy just has to really grow this year online as well as in person here in sunny South Florida. I'm located in Miami Gardens. So if you are in the area and you're looking for hands-on in person, like for real in person, definitely hit us up. Info at 365creativeacademy.com or info at hsinc365.com. All right. So with all that being said, I see a lot of comments going. So let's just kind of see who's in the chat. And if you guys have any questions for me as it relates to anything creative, anything business-wise, I come on here to answer your questions. I no longer really come on as much to do full-on demonstrations, do tutorials. There's a lot of them. My message is not going to change. My methods really have not changed over the years. Especially like in recent years. So you can watch any video that's there. And there's something that you don't understand on a video that I have done. Come onto one of our Q&As and ask the question. Come into our group, copy the link for that video, put it in your post. Let me know exactly what question you have. And I'll be able to answer it. But I pretty much come on here to answer your questions. All right. So let's see where we are at. Hey, missed you too. Thank you so much, Valerie from Illinois. Missed y'all too. And there was the one I said, where have you been? The vending machines. I'm going to talk about that. OMG, I want to learn, but guess I missed the wave. Thank you for commenting. Good morning, Professor. I've missed you. Oh, y'all making me feel so special. Incredible morning, incredible morning, incredible morning from Hyattsville. Hey, hey, hey. Incredible morning. Hello, I am doing incredible, amazing. Hello, hello, incredible morning. Good to see you back on Preach. I know, he's not watching. Trust me, he's not watching. Your help and platform has helped me more than you know. Incredible morning. Hello, hello, hello. Alrighty, so over here, let's see. Incredible morning, everyone. I'm back in my phone. Okay. All right. Saw that one. If they're watching the playback, they can skip past this part. Exactly. Thank you for the shares and invite. Oh, we're up to 10 shares over here. Y'all be sharing over here from San Antonio, Texas. I make tumblers and run. Oh, barbecue trailer. Let me holler at you. Okay. Silhouette Studio with a dab of Canva. And that was from my city girl, period. Thank you, Michelle. Definitely tap, tap, tap. Let's see. Incredible morning. My dress is actually making it very hard for me to see the names. I literally would have to put my hand up to see some of y'all names because my dress is making it really hard. So Creations by Miss C. I feel bad for not saying y'all names, but I really can't see them. I'm like straight up can't see. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to send the invite. You don't have to join. All right. So 2 things. Why I chuckle at the word crafter. When I first started this, that's really what it was. I mean, I was a creator, I was a crafter, but I was also in this like for business. And while I had a lot of people who just wanted to kind of learn things to DIY, for me, DIY is doing it yourself. But I feel like what most crafters are like doing is more so like DFY, do it for yourself. And that's like where the crafter thing is. Because when you do it yourself, if you have a business, us as creators, we're starting at home, it is still DIY. You're doing this business yourself. You're making these creations yourself. You're making these products yourself, right? You are at the helm of it. The majority of the things for your business is done, like it's run by you, it's conducted by you. So it's not for you. It is you're creating it for someone else. You're creating it for profit. So I feel like crafters do it for themselves. They DFY. As someone that it's a creative and you want to have a side hustle and you have an entrepreneur spirit, you are doing it yourself. You're not going out and because that's a big thing too, to where people will order things from overseas and from manufacturers and they're going to buy it in bulk and they're just going to white label it. Or for some, they're going to sell it as is. They're not taking ownership of it. They're not rebranding it, repackaging it as their own. They're going to buy those products as is and they're going to sell them on platforms like Etsy or Amazon and things like that. They're not creating anything for themselves other than the business, but all of the actual items are manufactured in a factory on machinery. So they're not doing that themselves. A hairdresser is someone that's doing it themselves. They're not taking their clients and putting them in a machine and just programming it and the machine. They're not the Jetsons, right? We're not Jane and can just go in there, put it on, and it's going to do your hair, and then you just go down and you're done with it. They're still doing it themselves. They're braiding, they're pressing, they're washing, they're conditioning, they're perming. You're doing it yourself, but you're doing it for profit. So you're not doing it for yourself, it's for a client. So I have a different perspective on this whole DIY thing when it comes to business. Hopefully that makes sense to y'all. And during the pandemic, a lot of people wanted to learn how to make what they do themselves, take what they DIY and make money from it, how to profit from it. And they use this word of business. For some reason, there's this negative connotation on the word side hustle, which I don't understand why. Side hustlers can make mad money as well, depending on how much they hustle. You'll hear people who are in full business and still say, I got to be in hustle mode. As an entrepreneur, to me, you're always in a hustle. It might be your main hustle, but you're always in hustle mode because there is no safety net. If you don't get sales, you don't have money. You can go and feel like you're working on your business. I can be on here for 8 hours a day, right? This is my business. This is no different than me going and clocking in. I turn on the camera, I go live. I can be on here for 8 hours a day. If I'm on here for 8 hours helping and educating, and not one person goes to buy our incredible sublimation paper that allows you to sublimate as low as 365 degrees, 30 seconds. This is lower temperature and faster than most of the advertising, like what you guys know, what they're advertising to you in the US, I will say. It's faster and more efficient. But if I come on here and no one goes to buy that product, if no one enrolls in classes, I'm live right now. They don't stop this live video and put commercials in it. So if I stayed live for 8 hours educating as people just come in, I can do that work and make no money. I'm still putting in the same amount of time that someone who can leave out their job, they're going to clock in. They do the same thing I'm doing, clocking into what is their work, their job, and they're guaranteed to make money. As an entrepreneur, you are not. You've money into equipment. You're paying that those employees, the factory workers, the salespeople at Best Buy and Office Depot and Staples, Amazon, all these people, the CEO for Epson and all of those, they created something, and on their job, they're making money because you guys are buying the equipment. You are buying the paper. You are buying the machine, right? You're spending this money without a guarantee of ever making a return on that investment. It's hard being an entrepreneur. It is a hustle. Now, for some, it's a side hustle because you have a 9 to 5. But when it becomes this business, right? So as a hustle, it's not, I don't say as much responsibility. It's not as many factors, right? So this is why in the craft community, you'll see so many people with their craft calculators, and the only thing that they calculate for is material and time. That's it. That's all they're calculating for, material and time. Then it's like they want to kind of complain about, oh my God, like it costs so much for these things. I know my value. I know my worth. These are things that I hear and see in groups all the time. But it's like, it's not your customer's fault that all you wanted to do was learn how to make the thing, right? You took something that you were doing for yourself and tried to monetize it. As someone that's doing it for yourself, as a consumer, you're going to buy it retail. The average person that's going to now rebuy, when you buy something, it didn't cost those companies whatever a dollar amount they put on there. It didn't cost them that. It cost them way less than it cost them pennies. With something that costs $100, it cost them a couple, tens of dollars to sell you this $300 printer. It maybe only cost them $10 to make it. But the reason why it's $300 are all of those people who are going to work. They're not producing revenue themselves. They're getting revenue. They're getting a paycheck off of the item that is being sold. So something that costs $10, now it's $300 to sell it because the long list of people that have to be paid. So all of that money adds up to pay all of these people, average CEOs, managers, workers, the packaging, the printers, like who's printing their packaging, like all of these different things. They're paying for like just the branding, the marketing, the shipping, the person that's cleaning up the office facilities, that's cleaning the toilets, the person that's cleaning up the warehouse. Like, there's so many different components to why that price is the price. But crafters only think about the equipment, the supplies, the labor. And half of you guys don't even consider the labor, especially when it comes to design. A lot of crafters only think about the physical thing. They don't think about their design time. They're not including that in their pricing because you can't get to the thing until you design it. So is that design time not worth something? And so many crafters put such a low value on that time. You might as well go work at a fast food restaurant if for your designing and the time that you are sitting there, once you become proficient. Now, it is different. If you are somebody that's new and you are learning, no, you're not going to warrant top dollar. And I think that's also where the disconnect is. I'm going to hold you accountable to where your skill and your expertise is. If someone goes and asks me how much you're charging for something, and I go and I say $50 and you're just in, I'm sorry, I'm going to be the person to tell you, you don't deserve $50 like I deserve $50 because you have no skin in the game. So that's when I say, like, I'm going to be real, raw, and honest. It does bug me a little bit when you have people that are brand new. It's like, oh, I know my value, I know my worth. Just because it took you 2 hours, be honest in the fact that it took you 2 hours, not because that task takes 2 hours, but because you don't know what you're doing. And why should your customers suffer for you not knowing what you're doing? In everything else in the world, you get paid more when you have more experience. You have more expertise. You start off at entry level and you build your way up. But for some reason in the craft industry, it's like backwards. We start off and we want to make top dollar because it took us a long time, but we're not recognizing the fact that it takes a long time because you don't know what you're doing. You're still in training. On regular jobs, do you get paid top dollar? You don't even get paid your regular salary when you're in training. But at the moment you go, you see a tutorial, oh my God, I can do that. I'm going to charge top dollar for it. Instead of, okay, as long as I'm making something from this. It's not a business yet because I really don't know. People turn expertise into a business. They receive top dollar when it's something that they are an expert about. But in craft world, no. I saw someone make a post. This is the part that's funny to me. I saw someone make a post that said, oh my gosh, I want to make this thing for the first time, right? And because they have this community, oh, and when you do, we want a class. So you're not going to wait until they have a couple of these under their belts. They really understand the kinks and things. So you want to pay for a class while they are learning, so where they don't even really know like the best adhesive, the best material, the best this, the best that, or the best techniques to be able to do this efficiently. They're probably going to teach this class and take forever and a day for something that really only takes a small amount of time. But I mean, their heads are being boosted up. Like, we live in this world to where I feel like people are so desperate to make money that just because someone shows a little bit of experience in other things, the moment they do something new, you're jumping on it for them to teach you, and they don't even know. And I was like, this can't be real. This person is literally saying, I have never done this before. I want to try this. Who's going to be my guinea pig and let me try this for you? And they're being very honest about it. And you have people in the comments ready to give them money for a class for something that they do not know how to do. That is beyond me. And that is a crafter mindset. And it's sad to me. And I don't want to feel like I'm taking advantage. So I don't talk technically to crafters. Once you kind of get bitten by the bug and you are ready to understand how to properly price, when we like to say, Walmart isn't my competition, or, you're not in competition with the big companies because they do X, Y, and Z. Do you think they all just sprung up out the ground and they were these big conglomerates? If you look at the history of Walmart and how they started, starting with one general store and then building. Like, it's possible. You can model after them. Instead of saying like, oh, that's competition, or it's always like, oh, the little people can't have anything. Study them, what it is that they're doing. Really pay attention when you're in stores and you're looking at like, these prices might seem expensive, but look at all the people that it takes to have this on the shelves. The person that stocked the shelves isn't the person that's checking you out. The person that's in the back doing in the warehouse isn't the person that's checking you out or providing you assistance. Like, instead of looking at them as competition, start to really look at businesses, all of the infrastructure for like everything that it takes for that business to run every single day, and start to question yourself. If I'm not making the money that I want to make, I'm not seeing the revenue, I'm not seeing this major jump, I'm not seeing the six figures like all these others. What are you doing? What are you not doing that they are doing? What type of setup do they have that you don't have? What type of access do they have that you don't have? I talk about in pricing for profit. You want to buy low, sell high, but not everybody's going to be able to do that. As a crafter, you want to go retail because, man, I can't afford to go and buy a whole case of these. I don't know if I'm going to sell them. There's risk. In business, you have to be willing to take the risk. Are you always going to win in those risks? Are you always going to see a return on investment on like those risks? No. Some of those risks, they're going to be, I know y'all hate this word, there's no losses, there's just lessons, there's no failure. I guess I'm just, I don't know if it's a bad thing, but I'm like, it didn't work. According to Webster, because you know how y'all like to go and correct people on post and be all correct and grammatically correct. Those are the same people. Oh, there are no losses, there's just lessons. Well, if we look up the definition of what a loss is, what a failure is, and these things, what the guy does, by definition, it's a loss. You didn't gain something. You put something in, you didn't gain. So now, not gaining on that, you took a loss. Can there be a lesson in the loss? Yes. But to say it's not a loss, it's a lesson, no, it is still a loss. It can still be a failure and you can learn from that. But it's like we want to be so super woke and so super motivated that it gets us nowhere. I don't know. So, yeah. So for me, I feel like crafters are the biggest prey. I feel like people see crafters as those who feel like because they're creative, they can make things, they can do it themselves, they can DFY, they can do it for them, do it for yourself. That it's instantly going to make them the best entrepreneur. They don't have to share the revenue with anyone else. They don't have to do these things. So when someone says you can be your own boss, you can be an entrepreneur, you can take these things and you can make all this money with it with little to no work, like that's the part, right? It takes a lot of work. I am not saying that you cannot be successful, but it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of sacrifice. You are going to sacrifice time. If you are somebody that still likes to go out, party, have your life, have your freedom, then this isn't the life for you, because when you're really locked in to how to get your business to grow, you're going to have sleepless nights. There's going to be events that you miss out on. There's just going to be so many sacrifices. And that's the biggest thing for me. I feel like crafters don't want to make sacrifices to actually build a business. So I don't really care for that word. I know what some people like, they'll say, oh, but we're crafting. I saw someone in a group literally just now. And they were like, well, it's different when you do sublimation, professional sublimation versus hobby sublimation. Excuse me? How is there a difference? Please explain to me. And I asked a question. Explain. What is hobby sublimation? What's the difference? Oh, it's what we do because we're doing it at home. I didn't know sublimation changed how it works because you're not doing it in a factory. Because you don't, I'm confused. But that's the mentality of a crafter. A hobbyist. It's not a hobby. Hobbies don't make you money. A business will make you money, but there's so many things that go into business. So I chuckle a little bit at crafter because these are creative things that can make you money. But once you are thinking about making money, it's no longer a craft. When I first started, I was a stay-at-home mom. I only had one child. I needed adult interaction. Let's basically craft together. I wasn't in it like I am now. Yes, let's craft together. Okay. There's a lot of things that I will do, and I just craft them. I do them for myself. They are my happy place. But once you turn that thing into a money-making task and you are monetizing it, it's no longer a hobby. It's no longer a craft. When my therapist, well, what do you do for fun? And I'm like, I like to teach. She's like, but isn't that how you make money? You know, I'm like, that's my happy place. I get on here, I do live videos, I help. But she's like, but isn't that how you make money? I was like, yeah. I was like, but when I do live videos, I'm not really making money. Like, that's my happy place. That's not a hobby. You have to disconnect and go back to the thing. So I'm like, this year I might go back to teaching. I mean, not teaching, to coaching cheer. But then I'm like, I have to prep myself because I'm like, that is from 6 to 8. So if I go back to coaching cheer, the majority of my classes are taught at night. Cheer practice is every single day, Monday through Friday, from 6 to 8. Depending on which team I get, a game is on Saturdays. So now I have to, like, that was my hobby, like just coaching cheer, doing those things. And I'm like, now as an entrepreneur, when the majority of my business and what I do is at night, I now have to figure out a hobby that I can do during the daytime. That's been a struggle for me. So know that you're going to give up certain things, and business is not crafting. It's not a hobby. It's a totally different lane. And I've dedicated the past 4 years to helping those who want to go from hobbyist to a business or even a side hustle. I think your side hustle can be very organized. It can be structured. You can have systems. I'm teaching my soon to be 13-year-old, he's 12 now, about that very thing. He started a slushy business. So they have B-Bros Enterprise 365. They have what's called their heat beaters, and just teaching him about that, starting small. He wants to just go, 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 but it's like starting small. And because when you start small, you're able to track things better. You're able to document things better. You're able to see the systems. But once you're in it, you feel like when you slow down or if you have to take a step back, you're going to lose. So now, even with my son starting this, I'm like, I want to create a community for those like, no, you're really just starting. You are really just starting and you want to get those systems in place, and you're not in a hurry to just make money. You're not in desperation mode to make money. My newer programs won't be for those who are in desperation mode. You have to be willing to get that education. What's his name? Myron Golden was just on Social Proof. I just finished up the first one. And when he was saying, for a doctor, technically, you know, they're in school 22 years, he said, because they can't just get to college, or unless like they're a super genius and they kind of graduate early. But the average person is going through 12 years of school, you know, from kindergarten to 12th grade. Then you have 16 for undergrad. And then you have masters and doctorates and all those different things. So it can take some 22 years to master and be this great, you know, doctor and things like that. Like, it can take a really, really long time to get to that level. And they weren't making money. Like, they took the time to learn and understand science and all these things and build on it. But I'm just finding that so many crafters, just because technology has made it easier, it's giving you easier access to be able to print in home, to be able to cut in home. These were machines that were not available really for in-home use because people want to have a couch. You want to have a living room, you want to have a bedroom. So you weren't putting this big equipment in your home unless, you were never going to entertain people. Or it's like, look, hey, just move those papers over a little bit. Just make you a little spot right there to sit and talk to me while I'm doing X, Y, and Z. They've made it easier and made it compact to where people have this illusion that now it's super, super easy. They just solved one problem for you where you don't have to go out and work in a factory. You can start at home with, like doing these different things, but it still takes time to really understand. I'm in groups and I see people ask questions about designing. You're wanting to do this thing. You are charging someone already. Like you promised someone that, hey, I can make this for you. Here is my cost. But you are in a group. I'm not saying that you can't ever seek help because, we'll do things like, man, I know there's to be a better way. But things like, how do I change the color? How do I add an outline on this? Can somebody remove the background on this for me? What font is this? This is the one that gets to me. What size do y'all make X, Y, and Z? Dang it, where is it? I don't see it. My ruler. That bugs me to no end. So you're trying to tell me you have a business and not that you're willing to go and pay for it. You want someone to tell you the measurements. How they know the measurements is because they measured it. Well, someone measured it. Now that in the craft community, it's, oh, we all started somewhere. We have to have someone help us. Yeah. And my answer to help you is sometimes you just got to measure it. Like, it's okay to measure it. If you want convenience, you pay for convenience. You want the measurements? Maybe go buy somebody's template that took the time to measure it, perfect it. Why not give them? They are now cutting time out for you. You're saying that your time is valuable. You want to be paid for the time that you spent, but you're not willing to pay someone. I don't care if it just cuts off 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Is that 10 or 20 minutes not worth something? So if someone spends 10 to 20 minutes creating simpler solutions for everyone that now takes them up to an hour, is that hour for them supposed to be free because everybody started somewhere? That's not fair to them. They're making your life easier. And half the time, people get the answers. Don't even come back with a thank you, a like, a referral. It's funny to me how crafters go and say, oh, friends, they don't want to refer people. But you don't do the same thing with other creators and other crafters, other business owners. If their business is creating information and creating convenience for you, why do we not support them? All right. So, hello, practice is key. Good morning incredible morning from Miramar. Amen. Crazy town. You have to research. You have to research. And a part of research is asking questions. I come on here and I say, what questions do you have? So you guys can't tell me that you do research on stuff when someone's saying, hey, what questions do you have? Even if it's a second opinion. If it's something that you researched and you felt like you had the answer to it, there's nothing wrong in asking that question again, because someone might have some insight that will make it a little bit easier for you to digest. You can ask a question, you can go look at something online and you're like, okay, that's the answer, but I don't understand how to apply that. I don't understand how that applies to me. So when you ask it again of someone, see if they have a different perspective. How people ask me about printers in groups, people are going to tell you, go get this printer only because of how it works. They're going to recommend a 15,000 and 8550 because it's large format. Oh, you can't do anything. You're going to want a large format. That's not the case for everyone. If you know me, you know, I don't like large format stuff. If I can do everything in a small format, I will. But I've kind of set myself up to where people kind of come to me for bigger projects. But if I had to do it all over again, I would do nothing. Absolutely nothing that was over 8.5 inches wide. Now I can go longer, but I would do nothing, absolutely nothing that was wider than 8.5 inches. I'm team small all day, every day. And so when I hear people say, oh, you're going to want a big one, or this whole thing like t-shirts is the holy grail. I despise t-shirts. Especially Sublimation shirts. I despise them. Like, because it's like that whole line. I do them, but it's like, it's not like vinyl. It's not like screen printing and things like that. Polyester shirts are different. It's almost like memory foam. You get the edges. So it's like, if you really don't want to see any edges, it's like, even if it's something small in the middle, technically you need a template that's going to cover the shirt, and that design is going to fit right in the middle. And that's how you're going to get a perfectly sub shirt and be able to just press it one time. But when you're doing in a small format and you're pressing that design there, you're going to get lines of demarcation because of how polyester is made. If you did not know, polyester is nothing more than like refined plastic. That's what it is. So you're going to see those indentions, especially in good quality shirts. So then I have to take this off. Then I have to go adjust my pressure, or have another, like you can have one for your regular presses, and then take the shirt, put it on another heat press that's set for higher pressure, press that, and that's how you're going to be more efficient, because you have two devices that's going to give you different, do different things. And you don't have to keep changing it. When I have the one and I have to press it, then I have to go in. I don't do it after every shirt. Now I just I used to. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I keep turning it. That's how I messed up my first handle. Now it's like, I just put them all to the side, come back, turn it all down. But then it's like the buildup of material. So I have a paper that should be super, super efficient. It doesn't require butcher paper on top. It doesn't bleed through. It's like, it should be pressed and done. But now, because I have exposed ink, so I can take out that line of demarcation, I have to now cut from this big old roll of butcher paper. Now I have to go in, cut sheets so that I can put it on top, repress it, wait another 10 to 12 seconds so that I can knock out that line of demarcation. That's a lot of work that people don't pay for, that they don't really want to pay for. The average consumer, they don't care. They just want their shirt. They know that you are giving them a shirt that has some design that I'm going to wear one day, but not knowing that all of these little things add up to seconds that I need to account for. It's not, although you can press it in 30 seconds, it doesn't just take 30 seconds to complete it. There's a lot of steps. Crafters, they look at, oh, it's only this amount. I can, even if you're using, honestly speaking, right? I've made it bad for some people, right? Because now it's like, oh, I can do it real fast. I got Shakeya's paper. I can press in 30 seconds. Like, I'm making bank. I'm making a profit. Like, but did you think about how you had to order that shirt, check that shirt, take that shirt, put it on there? Yes, you're applying the design in 30 seconds, but from box to heat press to packaging them and everything else, you're probably spending a minute to 5 minutes on a shirt, and you didn't bother to calculate for that time. I don't teach that way. So when I'm teaching about business, I'm going to scare you. You're going to be like, no one's going to pay for this. But you can't in one breath say, I know my worth, I know my value. But then when someone really shows you how you are devaluing yourself because you're not calculating for anything, oh, I could never get people to pay for that. Why not? Did they get you to pay $300 for a printer? Aren't you an American? Or not saying American, because I have people all over, but are you not a human living on this earth that have to pay for things? Did they negotiate the price for that printer? Did they negotiate the price for that brand new cutting machine that you got? Now, if you got it off a marketplace, but did they negotiate that with you? Do you get to negotiate the cost of eggs and be like, it's not like the Circuit City commercial. Last week I brought this. Today I came in and I found this, and he showed an advertisement where it was lower, and the customer service rep or the cashier, whatever, at Circuit City, he gave them the difference. They're not doing that. Eggs were one price last week. This week, they're a different price. Orange juice was one price last week. This was a different price. I literally watched gas change. As I was sitting at a light, the price for the gas changed because the guy was there putting in the gas. Once they were done, because they now paid more for that gas that's now being put into the ground. And once that new gas, they're going to get this invoice, and this wasn't the same amount as when the last time they came, they don't add it on. The moment that guy finished, I'm at the light and literally saw the price of gas change. It's like, damn. We don't go and negotiate and say, damn. Hold on, I got to reset over here. It won't even let me do it. So I'm saying 50. Okay, there it is. I don't understand why it's saying a DS. We've detected inactivity during your live. I don't know if it's because like I'm not. Do I have the double tap on the screen? I don't know. But I'm like watching that is kind of crazy to me. And I don't want if you're coming into this and you're like, I want to go from a hobby. Now, I want to have a space where those who are in that transitional period of DFY to DIY for revenue, for profit, I want to have a space for you guys. So it's like, okay, you don't want to do it for free. You still want to make, but understand that this, like at this stage, at this juncture, it may not be the thing that's going to take care of all of your bills. It's going to be supplemental. You're still going to have to work. You're going to have to do certain things. And this should make it a little bit easier, and it's providing extra income. And at some point, once you understand these systems, you can make it to where it is your full time. It's where all of your revenue is coming from. All the income for your house is coming from this thing, but you have to build to get there. Some people go and it's like you have a great season. You have a great moment and think that, hey, I can run with this, but you didn't give it any time. Were you consistent with this for a year? Or are you that person that's in the group after Christmas time? All right, y'all, what we doing next? What we doing? You're relying on someone else. You didn't even go into this with a plan for your business and what you would do. You're worried about you funding everything because you don't have a plan to go to a bank and say, hey, this is my plan of how I'm going to make money. And these are my peak seasons. I'll make this and I can do this. And when it's slow, this is what I'm going to do. You can't go and get that funding. You can't go and get that capital and say, oh, well, when it's slow, I'm going to go in a Facebook group. I'm going to find out what everybody else is doing to make money. And I'm going to do that. You can't. That's not how you're going to get money. Big companies are, they have capital, not because they're a big company, but because they have a plan and they can go and get investors. Those who have money, whether it's self-made money, if they were born into money, if like whatever it is, they're going to those investors who have disposable income. They want to be able to, one, save on taxes, right? Banks love to give away money. When they give away money or investors give away money, that's money that they can't be taxed on. Like, so there is this cycle, but crafters don't want to know about this. Like, you guys aren't taking the time to really understand investment. You're not taking the time to understand how money flows and how the rich really stay rich. How do they avoid paying taxes? We as consumers who are trying to get a small portion of the money that flows. We don't want to always be the person that's giving out money. You're trying to be a part, be a part of that world where money is coming to you. But because you don't understand the game, and we don't, like, I'm just now really getting into this. We pay the most in taxes. There was this whole big uproar about, that guy that's, trying to become president again. He didn't pay tax. He didn't pay this. He didn't pay that. His businesses did it. On paper, he can have it where like his business will fund a bunch of the stuff, the cars that he has. It's not under his name. It's under his business name. When Chris Brown got sued about the dog, they can't sue Chris Brown because not even the dog was registered to Chris Brown. The house, something happens to there in the house. The house is not in Chris Brown's name, or it's like in these rich people's name. They put these major assets under their business. So it's like they can live the life of luxury and pay nothing on it because it's the business. And then the business goes and says, I have this asset. And because I have this asset, I need you to give me a tax break for this. And I'm going to do all these things so that all this money that I made, I've been put somewhere else. I've invested in this person. So this money did not stay with me. It's not in my bank account. I gave it out. So guess what? Because I gave it out, you can't tax me. I gave it out to them. Go to them. Go tax them, because they don't know how to avoid paying taxes or paying so much in taxes. The working class pays the most taxes. But as a crafter, you don't want to know these things. These classes are boring to you. That's too long-winded. I just want to know how to glue some things. I want to know how to press some things. I just want to know how to weed some things. I just want to know how to cut some things. I don't want to know about all those. But then I want to complain that I'm paying too much in taxes. Then you have someone, it's like, I'm in the middle. I hear you. I understand what you're saying. I understand how you feel. I'm also the person that has my ear to the ground over here and I'm gathering all this information. So now my goal is to be that bridge. You ever seen the movie Polly? How many of you guys have seen the movie Polly with Felicia Rashad, Keisha Knight Podium, and like all of them? And when it came to bridge the two sides, it's like they're on this side, they're on this side. It's like having this bridge, having them come together, being that middle ground. It's like I had to help the crafters get over to this side where, hey, I worked my butt off, but I want to get to a point where I want to be like them and I'm not paying all this money out in taxes. That is one of my missions. And that's why I cannot talk to crafters. I have to talk to those who are ready to actually make money. And I'm sorry, y'all, it ain't going to happen on this free platform. You want that information, you want that time. I'm not going to go and spend hours and hours and hours of the stuff that you don't want to listen to be able to break it down and give it to you in a way where you're going to understand it. I'm not doing that for free anymore. Like I cannot. It's the mindset. Yes, I have multiple classes from Creative Academy, and my products I have grown in style, and my friends have noticed. Awesome. Preach, professor. I ain't gonna say I'm preaching, I'm teaching. Okay. Let's see. I'm educating. I know you answered this question before. I look for the video that shows how to put Silhouette program on a new computer. Can you please? Okay, so I think you're asking the wrong question, because to put it on the computer, you just go to silhouetteamerica.com and you just download it. So the program is the program. Now, if you're trying to figure out how to now add your upgrade because you paid for a designer or you paid for business, that's different. And that's when you go to help and then activate and then just log in. And there you have it, folks. All right. So let's see. I don't want a big business, but I do want a successful business. That's a big one. Oh wait, hold on. I got to go back. You actually wrote a lot. Hold on. Let me go back. Let's see where I was. Girl, you wrote a lot. Hold on. Shoot. Hold up. Let me find it. Where'd you start at? Drop those cities and states as you come in. Thank you so much for that. Truth. I gotta hold my hand. I can't. My dress is making it where I can't read anything. That's just like so many people buy printers and cameos and never take them out of the box. Well, sometimes now if you bought them at regular price, well, you know what? I watch the cost of Epson as demand grows for them. And these big companies and these companies that are supplying us, trust and believe that they have people in these groups and they're seeing how people are moving. They're seeing how people are recommending stuff, and they're going to end up hiking up the price. So I'm learning now to not fault people if they got a printer or they got a machine and it's still in the box, because they probably got it at one of the best prices. Seeing how much the F570 jumped was crazy. Seeing how if you got it, like there's really no major difference between a Cameo 4 and a Cameo 5. But the price jump for a Cameo 5 is way different than the Cameo 4. So if you got a 4 and it's still in the box, it's okay. Just because people have a 5 doesn't mean that because it's just going to cut. So you still got a better deal. So I'm learning to give people grace on that, because sometimes it can be a smart business move, right? I have plenty of printers that's still in the box because I knew the printer that I wanted. I have two 7720s that's still in the box. And they're going to stay in the box because until I need them. So I'm learning to give people grace about that part of it, because they may just not have time for it. But it was a good investment at that time for the price point, because prices will only continue to go up. So if you have the money to get it and you have a plan to use it, you know what you want to use it for. If you have the money, I say get it, because when you're ready to use it, it might be double, well, 50, 50% jump, double the price or whatever. So I say get it. It still allows beginner to make a profit. That's insane. Why will I pay you to learn with me? Exactly. Everything they have, everything. They have the funds and we are still trying to build, but crafters want instant. I'm the one that thought I had a business but couldn't see past the crafter mindset. Now I have started back over at ground zero, trying to make sure my foundation is solid and that it'll help me build a successful business. I don't want a big business. I just want a successful business. I'm still an HTV girl when it comes to shirts. Yes, I've passed gas stations and it was one price and later that day it went up. I need all that information and I will pay for the knowledge. Oh, okay. Let's see. I keep getting an error on requires administrative permission to create resource folders. I have no idea what you're referring to. That came out of left field. The only thing I see is good morning. So if you dropped a comment before, it did not come up because I have no idea what you were referring to. But kind of going back to, I'm not sure the person's still on here. It was Anthony, and he was like, he's seeing all of these vending machines. So this was, man, I don't know. I know last year was big, but it ended up like it was before this. This is probably the third year where I saw them heavy. And it became like heavy due to TikTok. And people kind of posting on there, and then it kind of trickled to all the other social medias and things like that. At first, it was more so for Easter baskets, and now it's last year. I feel like the grad boxes were like the big thing, right? And so that, people are taking so much time to learn how to make these vending machines, not wanting to feel like, man, I learned this skill and man, I made so much money during Easter time. I want to be able to carry that over. So a lot of people now are making them for graduation or just like they're just a gift box. So it's supposed to be a unique gift box or just a unique way to present gifts. I've been doing that for the longest. Just like, the one where people will make the wooden box and then it's almost like a mobile closet. So like, it's like a box, they'll put the poles on it and it's like a baby shower gift. They'll have the clothes hanging from it and then like all of the baby shower stuff. So instead of just taking these items and wrapping them up or just putting them in one big box, people are just making it like it's a presentation. That's all it is. So with it, they're doing foam board. And a lot of people ask me, last year they were asking, I'm like, it's foam board. You learn to cut foam board. I have a whole class. You want to know why? I'm going to tell you why I did not get into the vending machine trend. My style of doing things is different. And I know that I should, trust me, I know that I should, to attract crafters, to attract creatives, I should do it the basic way. But I'm also someone that has been taught when you know better, you do better. I saw people cutting those things and those edges were rough. And I'm like, and y'all are cool with selling this? It's crazy to me that crafters or these same people, if something is messed up, their hair is messed up, they don't like the way the stylist did it, they're going to want a refund. They're going to want some of their money back. These are the same people. You go into a restaurant, your food is not quite right. You want a full refund and a credit for a dinner. But you saw nothing wrong, nothing whatsoever wrong with jacking this foam board up where you had holes in it. Your lines were not straight. You were using cellophane where this window is like messed up. You're trying to tape it. It's falling off. You don't know the right adhesives to use. You're being cheap. You don't want to use double-sided tape. So you're trying to tape it. You're trying to glue. You're trying to do that. But you're the same one that will complain and want a full refund if something is wrong. But you created something, knew that it was not right, not even close to being right, but you wanted to be paid top dollar for it and don't question you about it. How that work? So, for anyone that's ever taken a foam board class with me, if you look at this foam board, what you will not see, so this is what foam looks like. Most of the vending machines, you saw this. You saw that thick part right there that had no print on it, nothing like that. Well, Shakeya don't make them that way. You see that? Do you see any foam? Do you see any foam on the sides? So if y'all thought y'all was doing too much work and not getting paid enough, oh baby, you could not take a professor foam board class. I've had people go and they pay for. I have a foam board class. I have a foam board 101 class. Do I feel like I need to go and jump on this trend? No. If you really want to learn how to do it, you take my foam board class. Now, having the template is different. The skill of cutting foam board is a skill of cutting foam board. How you use that skill is up to you. There's so many things that you can create. I create centerpieces with foam board. I create decorations. I created backdrops. I created models for homes. My son's projects for school that teachers want to keep forever, they're made with foam board. My son had to do a tree house. I took a foam board base. I put it on top of a real tree branch, had the tree branch going through because it was a tree house. My baby's tree house had lights because I put a solar panel on it. We're supposed to make a solar panel and just kind of, no, I went to the Dollar Tree and I took a real lamp that was solar powered. I put that joint in here. I don't play. I don't know how. I'm not your average crafter. I go overboard. So, yeah, I've used this to make gift boxes. Some of you guys saw the one I made for my grandmother for her 91st birthday. Some of you guys have seen the tower. Some of you guys have seen the posters. Some of you guys have seen the big cutouts that I have made from foam board. Look at those cuts. Okay, so learning the skill of cutting foam board, that's a skill. Now you take that, you know the measurements, you make measurements, you cut a window, you have a vending machine, and you would have one with clean lines. But as a business person, I also understand that most people, for something that they felt like was just for one day, it wasn't value. It takes time, it takes skill. And if me making a small box like this is one thing, no window, kind of cover it. But now we're doing it at these large scales and have to put stuff in it. You got to put hinges on it. You got to make sure that it closes. You got to do this, do that, cut this, make sure that, you know, the whole, like it opens and closes. It's like some people did the templates and because they can't cut, it's very evident that it's messed up because you made the template. It had a black border around it, but because you cut it, you didn't use the proper ruler with a foam or with a cork on the back. If you're not going to use a T-square and use certain things, the best ruler for you to use would be one with cork on the back so that it doesn't slide. You're using a metal ruler, you're using a plastic ruler, and you're wondering why it moves, and then your blade goes like this, and I teach skills. I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly, why you need to use this thing. Now, if you don't care, you just want to use whatever you have, then you have to be okay with the results. And it may not be something that's worth top dollar. But I refused to get into that because y'all going to feel like, oh, I don't need all that. She talking too much. That's some stuff. Like, just show me how to cut the board. Just show me where I'm supposed to go to print. Okay. That's why you just go to other folks and you get what you get. But I refuse to because, yeah, my skills are a little bit different. And once you know better, you do better. And I can't go back to that. Like, I just can't. You are preaching. That part about the vending machine. I cut a letter out for my daughter for her cupcakes and didn't get it. I said, we can't do this. It's not right. Thank you so much for the super chat, Miss Dawn. I actually had my coffee today, but that will be for the coffee tomorrow. Thank you so much. I will never do something or sell something that doesn't look good would not would not buy it. So it's like when you're learning, it's okay. I don't know if y'all think I'm lying when I say this. Like this, I'm very consistent in what I say. My family can vouch for me. Before I started selling it, I mean, they once I would do it, they would give me a tip. I would make money off of it, but I would at least have them. Okay, the material is the material. I'm not going to eat that cost. You want this, but I need to learn this. So when I first started out, and I have a bunch of content, and I took pictures and stuff, but it was me learning. Like, I mean, some of my balloons when I first started and trying to do things the DIY way, where you're like getting a bucket and you're thinking, okay, gravity, cement. Let me just put a pole and put cement. Well, actually, I didn't do that. That was the one they had, but it was all leaning and stuff like that. And it's like it took time to really get to the point where I understood, like trying to DIY stuff. And then you're like, you give up and you're like, you know what? There's a reason why these cost that much, because I'm starting to realize, although it's a great way for me to get started and understand the skills, once I turned it into a business, I wasn't using those methods. I went with more of a professional type method, or at least or kind of sort of the DIY way of it, where I remember when I mean, it's, man, if I can take y'all through the journey of when I started doing balloons and how many different bases I used and how bad it was, understand there's a difference between a base for indoors and out. Like, man, if I could just take those who want to do balloons, like, I could go through and tell you some horror stories that will actually help you, because you're going to probably identify some of the things that you're doing. And even if you're not ready to implement it, you'll understand, okay, I got to work my butt off so that I can get to this point and I can invest in this type of equipment and not keep trying to piecemeal everything together with dollar stuff. Like, there was a time, and it's funny that how 25 cents changed for so many people. There were so many businesses that were trying, like people were trying to build them off of the dollar store. I was one of them. And then it's like, damn, that's where my thing of you can't save both. You can't save time and money. Your one is going to make the other one more. So if you want to save time, it's going to cost you more money. If you want to save money, it's going to cost you more time. You cannot save on both. Having the correct tools is very important. Because of the foam board class, I already had the proper knowledge and equipment. Yeah, because see, those who took my foam board class, it's a whole lot, it's so much more than just an X-Acto knife. And then the ones who were trying to cut it with the hot knife, I was just like, oh no, don't they know you can't cut through paper with that? Like, there's no easy way. The only easy way to cutting foam board is to then have a CNC router or certain types of laser cutters. But if you're doing it by hand, there's no easy way. And it's going to be something, because you're cutting it by hand, it's going to take you a lot of time to do it. And your time, how can I say, because I don't want this to come out wrong. For a consumer, it's not that they don't value your time, but in their mind, it's like, okay, it's not my fault that you don't have the proper equipment to make it go faster. I'm not going to pay you because you're doing it the long way. Like, that's how some consumers think. So although it might be taking you a lot of time to do, you may not profit as much as you want to, but as you go and you're elevating, you're scaling. That's another word that crafters, I feel like they don't understand. And how you grow, how you make more money is when you scale, when you get better equipment. You might start off with cutting it, but you're going to do the research on, I said something like a CNC. You don't know what that is. Am I going to sit here and tell you what it is? No, you have the people. Oh, you don't help. No, I am helping. I gave you the keyword. You don't know what to search. You don't know what equipment is. So when someone says a CNC router, now I'm going to take that. I'm going to put it into all these wonderful search engines. I'm going to look and see what a CNC router is. Oh yeah, it's going to make your eyes bug out when you see the cost of it. But when you see that there are big companies using it, how can I get to this? I want to perfect this skill. I'll build a business plan around this. I'll get funding for it so where I can get this machine. I'm going to make sure that I work on my credit to where I can finance this, and it's going to make it easier because this is great. My customers love it. They love it with me hand cutting it. So if I can get this machine to where I can design it, put it on there, it's cutting it, I'm going to be able to pay that loan back, pay that financing, feedback, whatever, a lot faster because I'll be able to do more. You do DIYing it, you're limited. That you already are limited to a certain amount of time to actually be able to function. You got to sleep, you got to eat, you got to socialize, you got to take care of kids, you got to do certain things. So you have a limited amount of time. And when you're hand cutting and doing everything, you're cutting into that limited time. Whereas now you learn how to leverage and gain back time by investing in machinery that's going to automate it and do it for you. Now that it's doing it for you, not only can you produce more in the same amount of time it took you to hand cut it, it's going to be more efficient. It's going to actually cost less. And when you are selling it, even if you don't increase the price, you've instantly increased your profit margin because you are able to do more in the same time. That's what crafters don't understand about business and scaling. The only classes are yours. Others charge a fortune, and they say I'm learning with you. Unlike you, you know what you're doing. Wait, people are actually saying in classes that they're learning with you. Wow. Thank you so much for saying this. I've seen so many that didn't sit right with my soul. She said her soul. Wow. Some of them edges look like the foam board was folded and torn. Ooh, yeah. When I started learning, I made shirts for people, but I was only charging them for the materials. Yeah. And once I grew in my talents, my prices grew. Looking back at the shirts I used to do versus now, I can see my growth. Yeah. And that's what I did. I started out just having them pay for the material, and doing that, it allowed me to properly price or put an amount to my time. Like as I'm doing it, and when I'm, the first couple of times I'm frustrated, I'm running around, I don't have the material, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. And you're trying to do all of these things. I'm experiencing that with MJ's business, right? Well, the boys, because Ziny Mind is definitely part of it, but MJ's at the helm of it. And all the little things that I've had to go in and purchase to make our lives a little bit easier, especially when we have this rush of kids, thinking about how we want to scale and grow past just the neighborhood kids. And you need different things. But he's at the starting phase right now. And I told him it's okay. $1.50, and he feels like he's burnt out and like, oh my God, this is what I made, whatever. Yeah, but as you grow and you do different things, you'll be able to do it faster. It's not going to seem as long. You'll clear that line faster when you get more equipment. We're up to 3 blenders now, thanks to Miss Wood. For what we want to do, I told him, and the type of blenders we're getting until we can get to a point where we get like the ones that are in smoothie shops, that cost like $800. We're kind of working the small with $100 Ninja blenders. So I want to be able to get one more because I really want my blender back in my kitchen. So yeah, I feel like he needs 3 blenders, and we need a couple more of the blades and some other things that we have to get for it. But I'm like, it's starting and start up and just knowing how to scale and really seeing these things to where when it's time to increase the price, he understands that. So he's making just enough right now while he's learning the business, learning about marketing and learning about selling and pricing, learning about equipment and inventory, learning about systems and how he has to make things, how to batch make his syrups and things like. So we are learning, and yes, we are charging for that, but nowhere near how he's making them. The time, $1.50 for that 8 ounce or 10 ounce is definitely not enough. $2.50 because he's like, man, for 2 hours and like, this is what I made. Yeah, because you're learning. So that's a journey that I'm on with my son. We're actually documenting it. So at some point, you guys will see it after the fact. You won't see it. We are documenting a lot, but just because we're documenting it now, we're not showing it on the journey. Once we kind of get to a certain point, all of that content will be released. You'll hear me talk about it here and there, but as far as the actual video content, that will be released after the fact. So But yeah, definitely start out with doing them. This helps you understand the time, how long it takes. So we're monitoring like how long each order from the time they give it to us making it, what things are going to make it like easier. Things even like just ice. The type of ice that you're using makes a difference in how like the things that they're creating. So just, pace yourself, take your time. Let's see. Aw, thank you. I am proud of him as well. And now this is going to be the part where I have to be mom, but at the same time, he made the basketball team. So he gets out of school, he has basketball practice, he still has to do homework. And this is going to be one of those things where during spring break, he saw how much money he made when he wasn't playing basketball and selling Thursday through Sunday. He saw a certain amount of money. Well, now you have other responsibilities. You have school, you have basketball, you still have to do homework to remain a honor roll student. So you have to do those things. You're not going to have to cut back. When I was telling him before, he loves the fresh ones. He feels like everyone loves it, but now think about the fact that you're not going to be able to do that all the time. So you're going to have to take time to make the frozen fusion ones. That way you can just pull it out and hand it to them. They're still getting the same feel, same flavor. It's just that you're not making it in real time. The ones as far as making it in real time, you're now limited to pretty much 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Maybe some Friday because you have all Saturday to kind of like make up your homework and stuff like that. So really Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is all you really have at this point. So now his business model changes, and I don't think he's gonna like the decline that he's gonna see in revenue from cutting back the number of days that he's selling, because I can't always be the person. Well, most times I'm being great mom and I'm like, okay, they'll come to the door. He was at basketball practice Monday, and as soon as his friends got off the bus, they were at my door. I'm like, wait a minute, how y'all here? Oh yeah, he made the basketball team. He's at basketball practice. But I don't want to turn them away. So I had to stop what I was doing and I had to go and make this stuff. And then I told them, I'm like, either y'all gonna have to cash at him or it'll take a little bit longer, because one thing that we don't play about is sanitation. So if they were going to give me cash, like y'all paying cash, whatever, everybody's giving me cash, fill these out, give me all the cash, whatever, so I can go take it, put it down or whatever, wash my hands and then make it, because it was only me. And normally when they're there, somebody else is taking cash and the other people are making the product. So that's one thing we don't play about. Me and my husband we both come from, we met in the food entertainment business working for the arena. So we've served safe certified, like all those things. So we definitely don't play when it comes around to those things. You can't touch money and touch food. When I go to McDonald's and they do that, I look at them like they're crazy. Excuse me. I need you to remake that over. You was touching money. You can't be touching my food. You can't be touching my cup, putting your little hand on the top. We don't do that. You just pour that out. Have somebody else do it or go wash your hands, because it's nasty. It's nasty. Wait. What'd you say? Hold on. Okay, I think some questions are missing because you said, sorry, typo, correct. It should have said CNC. What happened? I don't see it. So I see that one and I see that one. So any comment before that must have been filtered out. I don't have a comment before this one. I'll ask you to wash your hands real quick. I know, right? All right. I know I talked a lot. I still asked, so there was no questions. I don't know if y'all were just into what I was saying. We had a few questions about Silhouette. So we are now at an hour and 33 minutes. I am going to open up the floor based off all the stuff that I just talked about for an hour and 33 minutes. If you guys have any questions for me, want some insight from me, the floor is open. Ask questions. If you're watching over on TikTok, you're more than welcome to, if you are able to, send an invite, jump in the box and verbalize your question. Okay, wait. I see. Luckily, I went over here. So, um, great morning, professor. Thank you for always being a teaching spirit. Even though I am in and out of crafting in and out of crafting more than rain in Florida, I am grateful to know you are helping others be great. Thank you. Um, okay, that was the only notification I got. The other ones are just like reactions to stuff. Hey, Miss Wood. And no one can ever say like it's funny to me like in groups where people think that you're always trying to just take from people. So someone asks a question, can someone tell me what size to make my image for the Dollar Tree paddles? And it's like technically I have done the work where it's easier for you. It's a convenience. It's 365 for, well, I don't know if that template, actually it is on there, the template for that one. But it's simple things. Like so many people don't know, like they're always asking about like templates for stuff or the sizes. If you have an Epson printer, you have the best template maker at your fingertips. If you have any of the Epson printers that have a scanner on it, that's all you need. You're going to scan it. And if you're using a program like Silhouette Studio, you now trace that and you have the exact size that you need to put that design in. All it takes is scanning. But it's, small things like that people don't realize that printer is more than just a printer. It creates your templates for you. I'm so glad I was able to catch your live. I've learned that in order to stay productive, I have to stay off social media. It's definitely a rabbit hole. If your business is not directly related to social media, like mine is a big part of mine is being on social media. This is where I get a lot of my content from. This is how I realize what people's like pain points are and what questions need to be answered. So I spend a good amount of time not and on what I consider to be, well, social media to me is like Facebook, where you're communicating with people, TikTok, Instagram. I'm not big on Instagram, but I'm online a lot. Like I don't really consider YouTube to be a social media platform, really. But I'm on there a lot, like just kind of just gathering information, knowledge. Like the amount, like the type of videos I watch, it may seem so far fetched, and then like so left field. And then it comes back around full circle. I'm like, dang it, I actually needed that information. Like that's why, God put that in my way. Like he put that on. I feel like sometimes like my For You page or like my timeline or whatever it is called, like on YouTube, whatever, it is divinely created by God. Cause I'm like, what the heck is this? And then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm putting it together. But if you are just creating and things like that, you definitely want to limit. And it's also okay to outgrow groups. If it is a group that's for beginners and there's no elevation in it, and the questions remain on a very, very, I just started yesterday, I just started within 6 months, and there's nothing like no elevation past that, it is okay to leave that group. Because one thing they're going to do, like she says, a rabbit hole, and it might be like new trends that they're jumping on, and it may seem like the greatest thing, want to get like the next big thing, whatever, like what's considered like the next trend or whatever. That's not going to be helpful for you if you went in with the plan. I see so many people abandon the plans they have for their business because of what they see somebody else do. And that, you're setting yourself back. You've invested all this time and you're not even seeing it through because someone showed something. And yeah, they may have said, oh, I made such and such money from this. And now what? There's someone who's very near and dear to me. And I thought that their artwork and what they did was absolutely amazing. It fell in line with the type of work that I like. Their art and the things that they did, I loved it, right? Well, due to trends and things like that, they've moved on to something different. They were someone that I liked. I supported, I purchased from. Now there's nothing that I can purchase from you, because why I came to you, why I shop with you, you're no longer doing that whatsoever. And that person can't get upset with me or anybody that's like, I'm not, yeah, I shopped with you before, but now I'm going somewhere else. Like, you're not going to see sales from me. You're not going to see even a like. Well, I do still like videos. I don't know, or content, because I know that helps them. Even if I don't really, it's not content that's for me. The fact that they put it out there, I'll leave some type of reaction, some type of emotion to it. I may not love it because it's not something that resonates with me. I sometimes will still share it because I know that I have an audience where they're looking for those things. But me directly, I am no longer a customer of that person. I'm a supporter of that person, but I'm no longer a customer, because they completely changed their business model to something that I have no desire to get into. I have no desire to utilize that type of artwork. So at this point, we got to be okay with me just supporting you. I want to upgrade my Silhouette version. I'm still using 4.3. Is this still the best version to use for Silhouette? I don't know the quality of your computer, your system. For some people, they cannot go past 4.3. If you are deciding to upgrade your machine, if you are somebody that's just using Silhouette Studio for design, there really is no reason for you to go past 4.3. There's nothing in 4.4, 4.5 that's like, like mind blowing. 4.5, if you upgrade, I thought I still up here. If you upgrade from the 3 or the 4 and you now get a 5, then you are forced to. And if that machine is not compatible with your computer, it becomes a paperweight because you can't use the machine. And you can't use the machine because your computer doesn't support the program. That's the thing too. Some people get so excited about this new equipment, and they don't bother to check to see if their computer is really going to be able to handle it. So you go and you do this, and it's like you want to blame the company. No, it's your computer. So now you may have to make plans to not just buy the machine. You now need to save or figure out a way to buy a new computer that's going to support it. So I cannot say that that's not the best for you, because I don't know the type of computer you have. I don't know the type of memory you have. I don't know if your memory is darn near full. Are you willing to invest in things like a WD My Cloud to pull those things off? I don't know what programs, what systems you have. So I just can't say that. To me, the programs work exactly the same. The changes in them for design, very minimal. If you have a 4, stay at 4.3. Nothing that's like, and you need to upgrade. So informative. Thank you. You are very welcome. It became so overwhelming for me that I stopped creating altogether. Oh, wow. Wow. Well, I ain't going nowhere. I'll always support you because of what you taught me. And I'm okay with people supporting. And like I said, sharing it to someone who may need, where I'm at. And that's someone too, where it's like Essentials was great for her. And she asked me, and, truth be told, me finally teaching Photoshop was due to Miss Wood. I knew Photoshop. I've been using Photoshop since high school. Photoshop was the first design program like I really, really learned. Photoshop and Illustrator. So I've been working in Photoshop. I'll be 43 this year. I started in Photoshop when I was 16, 17 years old. So that one I know and have been through the different changes of it, but I just didn't teach it. It's not, that's something that I use for me, right? So it's like teaching that, and with all the different functions, I don't know if somebody wants to learn it just for designing, for color correction, for templates, it's so many different things that it can be used for. So I wasn't teaching it. And then when someone said, I kind of outgrown, I've learned a lot from this. I now need Photoshop. And that is the moment where I was like, okay, we'll do Essentials to Photoshop, which the refresher starts this month. I know you have to make money as well. So that's But that's the reason I don't ask many questions or get on the lives. You have to make money. So since I can't afford to buy the classes yet, I don't ask any questions. I'm going to ask this one. Do you have a class on edit points, or like on edit points? That will be essentials. We have, so it wouldn't be beneficial to you or to me to have a class that's just on edit points. Because there's a couple like anyone that's taken my essential class can tell you that other tools and functions will eventually affect them, like how you use them, the way that you're using them. It's more than just moving them around. It can be to create an opening. It can be to retrace something. You can use edit points to modify letters, especially if you're doing like logos and you're taking a base font, but you're going to now modify them. So it will be a disservice to me to go and just give you a class on edit points, which is why I have tutorials. There is a tutorial on just how to utilize them. Edit points in of itself, super, like it really is easy. You have an edit point. It's either going to be curve, flat, smooth, or corner. That's it, right? So those are like the functions for it. And you're going to click on it. You have a point. You have handles. The handles is what controls it. They're really, really easy to use. Understanding them is the part that is a little bit different, you know, and you need to see it as a whole. So essentials is going to be the best option. There is Sezzle. If you can afford, I think Lashana told me comes out to, I think it's like $28 or something like that. Like payments of like 20. I think Sezzle does it like bi-weekly or whatever. It's like $28, whatever. It's $103 for that particular program, $103.65 for now. That's what the cost is. And that's going to be your best option to get a full understanding of it. Do I have something on edit points? I've done a ton of videos. And you can watch them to just kind of understand. Like I've done videos of me doing a manual trace, and that we were on, the whole time I did it, a 20-minute, 30-minute, hour-long video where I am manually tracing, and that's how you can learn edit points. I've done ones for modifying things. That's another way to get an understanding of edit points. But I want to kind of go back to, I know we all have to make money. If I am on here and I am saying, ask your question, I can do one of two things. I can answer it, or I can direct you to a class, or I can give you somewhere to go, to be able to learn it. If you can't, I'm not all about just doing my classes. Like that's a big part of it, especially now. But I spent 10 years. So, I mean, it's not like all of it is behind a paywall. There's 10 years of video content on my Silhouette Anonymous YouTube channel, to where if you cannot afford a class, you're just going to have to filter through those videos, make a list for yourself, make a playlist for yourself, make you a playlist that says edit points and videos that are highly emphasizing on edit points. Put that there. That way you can go back to it. You can help yourself when it comes to our content. So although, yes, I desire to make money from 365 Creative Academy, if I'm on here and I'm saying, ask your questions, I don't understand why you wouldn't ask the question, because obviously in that moment, I'm not worried about making money off of a class. I know that everyone can't afford the class. Like they're trying to start out. It's like, if I can at least get started on live. I'm not sure how many of you guys were on here on a live video. There was someone that came on and she dropped a $500 super chat. She didn't have it beforehand, but once she got it, she came back and said, thank you. Like, I've made so much money. I want to bless you with this. She dropped $500 in the super chat. And I was like, wait, hold up. YouTube take 30% of that. I don't get all of that. Don't do that no more. She literally went to my Cash App and dropped another 500. Didn't take that back. So she ended up blessing me with, I ain't even gonna say 1,000 because they really end up being 700. Well, it'll end up being 800 probably, because they take they one little chunk of that. But it was amazing to see that someone came back. I had someone contact me and they were like, I didn't always have the money. And she got my essentials, I think, when it was 83. And at that time, she was like, I didn't have it. She's like, I figured out a way to get it. And it changed my life. So much so to where she wants to sponsor. So we have a scholarship that's coming up. It will be announced. We're doing the giveaway right before we start again in July. But I still have to do one for this quarter because she said every quarter she wants to basically sponsor somebody who really can't afford it to be able to take essentials. And that is amazing to me, saying that I helped so much. And she was like, I looked at my tax and trying to figure out how the hell to have some money. Like, that's how much money she made from my teachings. And she wants somebody else to experience that. So every single quarter, she will pay $103.65 for somebody else to take the class. I would like to take my files off my PC and laptop. How many terabytes would you suggest for an external hard drive? At a minimum 4. To be honest, at a minimum 4. Our Cash App, yeah, I prefer Cash App. It is HS365. HSINK 365 is our Cash App. It's on this little banner somewhere. I got to find it. Oh, there it is. Thank you. Do you know where to get the polyester sublimation tank dress where they can be purchased? I don't know of anyone that like really sells them like wholesale. A lot of times we're doing it like they're going to like, what is that the places people say in the area? Roses or stuff like that. A lot of times people are doing those and they're just buying them like from stores because they are sold in stores blank. I don't do those. I don't have a wide format printer. It's not something that I've ever like researched. People don't pay enough for you to do research just for them. So I can honestly say I don't have like an exact like wholesale resource where you can go to purchase them. No, I don't. Oh, see, I'm glad I didn't go. Wait, it didn't go through. I'll definitely send your Cash App. That's amazing, powerful. Congratulations, whoever they are. When someone makes a difference in your life, you sometimes have to circle back and show appreciation because if you haven't run across them, it may not have been possible. Yep. Thanks for the info. You're very welcome. All right, let's see. My issue is I have so much I need to do, but I don't know how to manage my time and my thoughts. You and me both, child. So it overwhelms me and I just shut down. And that is something that I suffer from quite a bit. And it took me through therapy and just talking to others. And it's scary for me to slow down. Very, very scary thing for me to slow down and to pace myself on the things that I need to do. People don't understand how hard it is trying to run a business doing the custom items, but also being on social media and teaching in this manner, and also having the classes and having to prep for that, then having to creating templates is a whole nother business. Like I can literally spend a day like perfecting a template where everything lines up, trying to think about everything, right? So I got asked about like templates. If I'm doing a vending machine, my template will be based off of how I do mine, right? And everything basically lines up because I use a rabbit tool. So whatever the measurement is what the measurement is because of how I cut it. Like they're interlocked, like they go right up to the edge. So it's almost like that might as well have been one piece, and it's not, where this one is another piece. Y'all are I'm about to lose power over here. But then also with the vending machines, if you were going to do the one where the foam is exposed, some people want to design where the foam is inside. Like, let me see. Is this one set up like that? Okay. Here's a perfect example. Some people will design it to where the foam is to the outside. So like this piece is to like the outside of it. And then some will design to where it goes to the inside. And that is a struggle for me because I know these things was right in front of me. If you're in the foam, I'm sorry, this is going to be so left field, but if you're in the grad fan class, these were right under there. This is the other stick that I was talking about. You see the difference in these two sticks? So the back one is a giant stick. This is a regular jumbo stick. I'm sorry, it just so happened to see it. So I'm going to remember to do that as a video and put it in there. But because I don't know, right, how somebody will use it, I can put a template out. And some people think, oh, I watched so-and-so I watched a YouTube video. I just need the template. So I go and I put a template out, but the YouTube video that you watch, that person glued it to the outside. You're taking my template and you're bypassing the instructions that I put with it because you're going off of this person that you saw the video. You just didn't have a template. You saw them do it. Okay, I want to do it that way, but you buy my template and you don't bother to read my instructions. And now it's like, oh, this template was horrible, because it didn't. No. Mine was just set up a different way. I know that happens to where I stress out with mine because I'm like, all right, Shakeya, just design it both ways, all three ways, and then just kind of put on there what it's for. But then that causes confusion. Then I have all these questions. Which one I use? And then when I go and say, all right, I'm going to do a class. The class isn't necessarily that this information is rocket science or it's not available. Yes, there are a bunch of people doing them, but they're also not explaining that there are differences in how you're doing them. And now if you're getting a template, you're getting instructions from one person, it makes it easier because you'll know, okay, this way is for right now. I'm starting off. I'd rather make sure I'm just going to glue everything to the outside and do da-da-da-da-da. And now you'll know which template to use. That's where classes come in for me. It's not about just the information. It's about properly applying that information and understanding it, where it's not just a random video and a random template. So that's one. I have one, but I haven't put it out there. Like, I know, like, I have my vault, and I'm like, the vault is not for information. It's just a template. So if I put it in there, then you're gonna have all these questions about how to use it or which one to use and all of these things. Now I got to go have you buy a class because I'm not about to go and give the information for free. So or even if, like, let's say the class or a guide, so I can create a written guide that's going to explain all of these different things. I can't just give that away because you brought a $13 file, because that information and compiling that takes time. That's a separate purchase. So that's kind of like where I'm at with this. And that's why I said I'm learning to scale back, because all the things that people come to me for, they're all technically different businesses that takes different thought processes, different systems. It's just different. Marketing them is different. Some people, how I have to communicate to those who feel like, oh, I don't need a class. I just want the template for convenience. I don't know how to work a system. I just want to be able to put a design in it. And then I'm a Silhouette girl. I'm trying so hard to get people to, come around to Silhouette. But Canva is so big now. It's like feeling like I have to at least provide it for Canva. And then for my people who are like, okay, well, I know Silhouette, but I want to be able to do some other things. How do I do it in Photoshop? Now I got to go and create this template in Photoshop. And it's not just okay, well, go put it over there and just save it. There are things that you have to do. But, people don't think about that, because they just want it for themselves. We think about it when it comes to the things we're creating. oh, they got to respect my prices. They don't understand everything that I have to go through. But then you treat people who make templates or who do classes, some people treat them like that's not important. It's not valuable. Oh, I will never pay for a class. I'm not, and I get it. You gotten burned by some people, but that's on you to vet the person and really look at the work that they're doing. If you're doing a video and the tutorial that you're doing, you're not even presenting it in a professional manner. The glue is everywhere. You're taping it down with electrical tape. You're like all these different things. You see that they don't know what they're doing, but you still go and invest in a class. It's on you. You see people where they're saying, I go get information, I just bring it to y'all. I don't design anything. I'm not a crafter like you guys. I say that I am, but I really don't make any of this stuff. I just promote it. I'm just a great marketer. Everybody else makes everything that you see that I'm teaching, I'm doing a challenge on. I ain't make none of this. Somebody made it. I paid them for it. I paid them for the template. I paid them for this information. I paid them to make the class, and I'm just going to market it to you. But people jump on it, and then you get into their class and they can't answer any questions for you. That's your fault, not theirs. They did their job to market it to you and get you to pay for it. So I really want to learn how to design, but some software is so expensive. Are there any software programs you recommend that's reasonably priced? Is free? How does free sound to you? Miss Clayton, how does free sound? Do we like free? Is that a reasonable price? Is free a reasonable price? I just sent you a Cash App. Can you please give me advice on how to... You didn't have to send the Cash App for that. How to get back into business. I have a whole LLC since 2022, and I haven't made any money. I lost my way on exactly what to sell. I have thousands of dollars worth of blank mugs, mouse pads, tote bags, tumblers, bookmarks, chipboard, and journals just sitting. Hold on, I'm going to come right back to you. Professor, do you have a class on 3D shadowing? It's so confusing. Thank you for your advice. 3D shadowing? I don't think I've ever heard it called that. It might be something in these craft streets, and they're giving it that name. Can you give me more of like what you're talking about? Because you're saying 3D shadowing, and I'm confused about what's 3D about a shadow, because shadows are normally flat. Now, if you're talking about creating 3D, like, you know, making something where it is like 3D and it's like stacked and kind of coming out, that's a little bit different. We all do. I'm a seamstress for over 30 years and just now trying to start a clothing line. Had to work a full-time job, a full-time overtime job to take care of my family. Now I can focus on my business full-time. So I know it's not there. Yes, they were using electrical tape to tape down the window. Okay. Free. I love free. Wow, I just heard that said I'm learning this software. Yes. So free. Silhouette Studio is absolutely free. Are there upgrades to it? Absolutely. You can get Designer Edition. Designer Edition will make it easier for you to open up things like SVG files, PDF files. So SVG and PDF files, which some are, you know, they've taken the time to kind of create things, and that'll make it a little bit easier. But like JPEGs and PNGs, you can open up for free. Having Designer Edition, one of my favorite things to use, center of rotation. They saw me just use that last night when we were curving out a school name, having that center of rotation makes it easier to kind of line things up. That is one of the a part of the paid upgrade. It's a one-time payment for designer edition. Then you go into business edition, because I skip over that middle one because to me it's pointless. So you can do business edition. That's going to allow you to open up even more files, such as Illustrator files. If you know, because there'll be times where you'll purchase things and there is no SVG is a craft format. A lot of other file formats, I mean, when people are designing them, they're not saving as SVGs. That is craft language, right? They're going to save it as either an AI file or an EPS file. Well, you need business edition to be able to open up that EPS file. And then also saving it. So Silhouette, well, having business edition will allow you to save as a format that can be used other places. So I can save as a PDF that's still in vector form. Can you save as a PDF from Silhouette Studio using print to PDF? Yes. But it's also flattened, being able to have hyperlinks and things like that. It's a different way because you're just saving as a file format. But being able to save it as a PDF, you still can't do hyperlinks, but as a PDF where you can still edit and go in there and do things. I mean, other programs, you can do that from business edition, saving as a JPEG. I don't recommend saving as a PNG for actual for actual projects, but you can save as a PNG. You can save as an SVG and be able to sell SVG files to others. You are able to create a PDF file that you still have to open up another program to make it compatible for Canva for certain things. If you want to do a frame, but if you just want to create something where they can go in and change the colors and move things around, you can save that as a PDF directly from Silhouette Studio. Make that available to open up in Canva, and you can sell Canva templates. So you can do a lot from just a one-time purchase of business edition. So on our website, it's there in the description of this video. There's a link to get business edition. So if you're saying affordable or cost effective, it would be Silhouette Studio, which is free, and you can learn about designing. You can do just about everything except saving and opening up certain files from the free version. Business edition is going to run you about $50, $50, $60, $50, I think, through the link that I have. So that is reasonable for you. I recommend downloading Silhouette Studio and getting business edition, and that's going to be the best place to start. On top of that investment, although the program is free, where the cost is going to come in is our training. It's called Essentials to Silhouette Studio. It is $103.65. So don't know if you consider that to be reasonable. There is an option for Sezzle. There is an option for ShopPay. There is an option for PayPal, buy now, pay later. So you can break that up. So yes, you're going to get the free program. Now you can go through 10 years of videos, piece it all together, make yourself a little notebook, keep some notes, what's important to you, or you can have guided training through Essentials, and that is $103.65. If you do buy now, pay later, it's $113, $115. I think it's like $113.65 or $115.63, one of those. So those are options. So you will need at least that and the $50 for business, or you would need just the investment for the class, and you can use the free version of Silhouette Studio. I'm just saying. I think I remember you saying that an LLC is not necessarily the best way to go. I was trying to explain to a friend the pros and cons based on what I think I remember you saying. Was it you? Definitely wasn't me, because I don't sure have an now there are pros and cons, but I'm not going to say it's not the way to go. You probably heard somebody who I probably recommended, but I'm Parkwood Entertainment, i.e. Beyonce, is an LLC. Okay, so can anybody tell me that an LLC is not the way to go when that lady, as what his name, Brown, beautiful Brown, bougie, whatever his name is on there, when he call her that lady, Parkwood Entertainment, Rock Nation, are LLCs. So yeah. I hit the send button before I was ready. Everything can get overwhelming when you are trying to be successful. I love Business Edition, and I forgot how to do basic things in Photoshop, but I don't I don't know how to design in anything else. I always use Microsoft Publisher. That's not a design program though. Silhouette changed my life. Canva, I do not like. Yeah, it's like for me. How does it compare to Design Space? There are two different programs. Cricut Design Space does not compare. You cannot manipulate in Design Space. You cannot save outside of Design Space, so they do not compare. All right, so I'm going to close out unless something like really, really crazy kind of comes up. I'm going to close out with this, right? So hold on, let me make sure. I saw something over here about graduation. Will you have any more live graduation subclasses? Well, so glad that you asked. If you enroll, you can always, all of our classes, you can always enroll in at any time. We have the master program for graduation going on right now. We just finished session three, which was on fans. On Saturday, it's Sublimation for graduation. So that is a live class this coming Saturday, as in 2 days. And it's going to be on all things actually, I called it sublimation for graduation, but there are some things in there that's not really quite sublimation, but that was the only place I can kind of put it in. But the bulk of it is sublimation for graduation. So you are more than welcome to enroll. The cost is $125.63 if you're going to pay for it straight out. $135.63 if you're going to do buy now, pay later. You get access to the playbacks immediately. Last night's playback link is up. I still have to do the segmented part sometime today, but the playback link is still up. Last night was 4 hours. I don't give you fluff. Last night's class and it's not like a bunch of like, oh, we just sitting here, talking and chit-chatting. Well, it was a 4-hour time frame. We had I always do kind of like a little grace period. So class opens up at 6:30, but we didn't get started until around like 6:45-ish, whatever. Because I want people to try and like get in the room before I can really get to the nitty-gritty of it. But from the time the class started to like it ended or the Zoom room was open, was about 4 hours. And I don't give fluff. Like it's not like filled with a bunch of information that's not important every single second, except for when I could not find my laminated cardstock and when the Cameo played me. But even that's a learning moment. It's 4 hours of education, helpful information. It's not like 4 hours of wasted time. Some people are like, oh no, it's too much. Like you are going to learn something in every second of that training. Everything on like choosing fonts, the way the pictures are, how to use them, how they work differently in templates, and why you need to have more than one template because every picture is different. How the same template can be modified just a little bit to make it work for certain things. If your picture is longer, what's the best? Like you're getting all of this, which it can be a lot. This is your first year, you take a little bit and maybe, purchase or get the template vault and have a couple of the templates and just kind of work those maybe your first year. But that information will last you a lifetime. It'll help you pass graduation as well. But Sublimation for graduation is on Saturday, and we're going through a lot of things. If you've never tried my method for tumblers to get perfect tumblers, we're going to go through that step by step by step by step. We're doing the pillows, buttons, keychains, something else. Because even though we're going to do Sublimation grad cap toppers, that's the following week. So you can still enroll, and we will see you on Saturday. Nope, it's not almost over. And even if we have study hall sessions, my bad, friend. My bad. My bad. My bad, girl. My bad. Because she on it. See? Yes. So they don't know over here. So I'm gonna explain it again. Thank you for that. We have study hall sessions. Your 125 includes time with me outside the session because it's a lot. That's 4 hours, right? So you may need time to rewatch it back, go over your notes, try it, because you can't really do it a lot of times in real time. And when you're doing it yourself, it's like, okay, something effed up over here. guess what? You're not by yourself every single Sunday. Well, not every Sunday. It's like, and right now we're like every other Sunday. As we get closer to it, I might kind of change it, or maybe add like a day, like a daytime kind of like a weekday daytime study hall session. But I don't leave you by yourself. We have a study hall session. So if you miss, like you watch the first three and you're going through those, you come to, hey, you watch that, you have a question, come to study hall and I'll break it down for you. I can't go through like the whole teaching again. Like if it's specific things that you tried, you can show me that you did understand it. Hey, what did I do wrong on this? Or this is the font that I'm considering and da, da, da. Like, what do you think? Like, how can I make this better? Come to the hall session, bring those questions, bring those examples, show me what you've worked on and let me help you. So know that when you sign up for it, it's not just, oh, just take this class and then that's it. I help you through it because I understand that some people, you'll take a class and you'll have questions afterwards and there's no way to get those questions answered. I don't like that for y'all. I don't like that for me. So I make myself available, and that's why the price is the price, because it's not just the session and hey, you're on your own. So the stoles, so if you want just the stoles, there is a class that you can sign up for just for the stoles, and you're going to get access to the playback from last year as well as access to the playback for this year. Now you will not get study hall sessions, but you will get access to just the stoles. So if you're wanting to do that, but right now, if you do the grad master program, you get access to all of the playbacks and the study hall sessions. Yeah, the stole class was done. I haven't been in here, so this was the stole that we created in class. I'm not doing any therapies anymore. My last therapist, oh, love, wait, whoa, her lover. Oh, Lord. Oh, oh, oh. That's heavy. Girl, that's a lot. Jesus. Whoa. Dang. Girl, all them people often. Oh, Lord. Yes. And you get access to the student union. And that is a group where you can post questions there and get answers there as well. So, all right. So, getting back into the business. I know the next part of it was like you have bags, tumblers, mouse pads, bookmarks, chipboards, journals just sitting. I know you're probably going to want to hear me say go and do all of those things, but if you're trying to get back into it, yes, you may have all of these things. I would say it's not that you cannot use them, but they don't need to be the main focus. Now, if you're able to pair them with something, if you're able to, with all of those, so mugs, mouse pads, tote bags, tumblers, bookmarks, chipboards, or clipboards. I keep saying chipboard, clipboards, and journals. Clipboards. I am not the person that believes that everything needs to be a sublimation blank for the average person, right? I don't know too many teachers who really care about a sublimated clipboard. And then what's kind of weird to me is when people have the clipboards and they don't do both sides. if I'm going to submit a clipboard, I want to be somebody that like the person's going to find value in it. Is somebody that's going to use it and it's going to be visible. Maybe a coach, maybe having this clipboard that's not like a standard one. And, I watch, basketball, and they'll have a clipboard and it has the basketball court and they're drawing plays on it. It might be one where it's like set up for like football. It might be something that's set up for like baseball, or it might be something set up where somebody can use its conversion on it. It's not to say that it can't be used for, I'm just trying to figure out what's the purpose of a clipboard that just has an image on it. And especially when you have the image on the side, because a clipboard is meant to clip papers. So if your papers are there, what's the purpose of it? If it's going to be something, let's say if it was for students, right? If it was, you're going to create these clipboards and you're going to market them to parents and things like that, something that they can do their homework on. I know for us, we use clipboards a lot. If the kids need to do their homework in the car or going somewhere, or just for Zani wanting to have an activity, like something to do like an activity book, you can't press on, it's when it's soft. If they decide they want to have their coloring book, or he wants to do his homework, we're not at the table, we're sitting on the couch, whatever, he needs something hard to press on. It's useful for kids. Now you can do it that way and it might make them want to pick it up. It's theirs. It's kind of an identifier because it'll have a design on it. But that's the plus. That's the cherry on top. But when you are marketing it, you're mentioning those things, right? As a parent, I know that when we're on a long trip, you need a clipboard. You have multiple kids. How do you know who left their clipboard out? You got a bunch of them that's just brown, and then they're all using it. Who left it out? Wasn't me. It was. But now they're personalizing it, and you're going to talk to them and say, even for tumblers. Oh, in our house, it's like, look, this yours, this yours, this yours. If this is left out, it's on the floor, it's yours. If your brother took it and it's on the floor, it's still yours. So you should have kept up with it. So there are ways to use it, but just kind of putting it there randomly or feeling like because you got an AI art and you just put it on there, someone's supposed to just want it. Like, what is the purpose of this clipboard? The artwork on it is just a cherry on top. Half of you crafters are not talking about the benefits of it. Or if you're going to do it, do you have a market of bakers? You're going to market this to bakers to where their conversions on there, their ounces to quarts to grams, gallons to fluid ounces, things like that, where they can easily go. So if there's someone that does recipes, instead of they'll have their recipe, they can use this clipboard, they can clip the recipe to it right under that. Maybe you're thinking about the design so where if you have a recipe card so that you can easily see the conversion, you have the top portion, you have the conversion. So even when it's clipped, they're not clipping a full paper, they're going to clip their recipe, they can see the conversion, or they can easily flip it. What's the purpose of this? Yes, it's a clipboard. We know it holds paper, but even though it holds paper, I can go buy one for $5. Why do I have to pay you $20 for this clipboard if it does the exact same thing as the $5 one? That is when people say, how does it solve a problem? Having a clipboard doesn't solve the problem. You having this design on it doesn't solve a problem. What is the problem that it is solving? Confusion in households, or you want to be able to have this, it'll make kids like pick it up, whatever. You're going to use this clipboard to, when you're on trips, they're doing homework, increase your family time, or they whine about certain things, they can sit down and use it for game nights, use it. Like there's different ways you can use it, but how are you marketing it? Just having it does you no good if you don't know how you plan to market. And that's just really for anything on that list. If you want to really get rid of them, think about the person that would probably use all of those. Some people think that if you sell someone a mug, you can't sell them a tumbler and vice versa. Well, they serve different purposes. I may want the exact same design. There's going to be times where I need a mug. There's going to be times that I need a tumbler. They serve different purposes. I may use my tumbler as just a water bottle. I don't put anything else in here. I don't put soda. I don't put juice. I don't put tea. I don't put coffee. I use it just for water. But when I want my teas and things, but that inspirational message, it's on both. So I'm still going to have those feel goods, whether I'm using my mug or I'm using my tumbler. So now this is where that bundle comes in, and not just because, you got this stuff and somebody said put in a bundle, what is going to be the purpose of it? So when you're advertising, you're doing your marketing, you're doing your flyers, you're talking to that person who's going to utilize all of these things. Just to get rid of it so that you can start from scratch, you may need to figure out a way. Do those, have the same design on them, and you're going to sell that as one big bundle. A mug, a mouse pad, a tote bag, a tumbler, a bookmark, and a journal. And it's in one big bundle so you can get rid of that inventory. It's been sitting. Do you need to make top dollar for it? It's been sitting for how long? It didn't make you any money. It's sitting there. So even if right now, to get it out of there so that you can focus on the things that you want to focus on, sell it at cost or a little bit more. You've been sitting on it. It ain't made you no money as of right now. So anything that you make off of it, you're going to make your money back, or it's going to still consider to sit there because you're going to be stuck in this, but I want to make a profit all my time. It's sitting there. Just get rid of it. Make that a very tantalizing bundle just to get rid of it, get your name back out there, but on the back end, making a plan for the things that you actually want to do, and don't go back into that rabbit hole of buying all this stuff just because you see people doing it. Stick to your plan and scale and add things, increase your streams of revenue by adding additional products when you are ready for it. Make sense? But the first thing to get back into it is figure out what the plan will be. We do pro calls where we can help you navigate and figure out that plan. So we do those as well. Laying text in copies and group it behind. So you want a 3D effect. That's not a shadow. So we have that in Essentials. So we talk about the replicate tool and using that and doing multiple replicates and then connecting them and using your edit point. So that is, so if you're talking about like a 3D effect, like a text effect, yes, we have a text effect class that goes over that, but it's also in Essentials during the replicate day. Shadowing, a shadow is a shadow. It's a copy, you take down the transparency. That's what a shadow is. Some people will say it's like I've seen videos and they're saying shadowing, and maybe that's my issue because I'm like, I'm not using these terms that y'all consider to be shadow. Like when somebody puts an offset, they're like, the shadow around it. I'm like, an offset? So I don't know. Like when you're saying shadowing, we do go over because there is a shadow feature when you have designer or above. But I also teach the free way of doing that to just make a duplicate or make a small offset, move up to the side, fill it in with black, and take the transparency down. That is what a shadow is. But for what you're referring to, that's a 3D effect, and that is something where you're going to have to learn replicate, and you're also going to have to use edit points. So it's a little bit more work, and I explained that. It's more work in Silhouette Studio, but it can be done. And then when you're adding the shadowing to it to give it depth, to be able to tell those things apart, that takes up, those takes additional skills to do that. Whereas for what you're trying to do, Illustrator has kind of a plug and play that will create those for you. You can end up putting one color, putting another, then you do what's called the blend, and it's going to create that 3D look and also put those different colors, those shadows and highlights on there for you. So it just really depends on what is you're trying to create. Silhouette Studio, if you're going to do a lot of them, Silhouette Studio is not going to be the best program for you. It's going to be for you to invest in Illustrator and learn about blending. Once you pay for the course, is there a time limit to finish? Absolutely not. You have unlimited lifetime access to everything that I teach you, which is why I cannot go to subscription base. So many coaches are trying to get me to go to more of a subscription base, and I refuse, because subscription base means if you hit hard times and you can't pay that subscription, you now lose access to the information that will be helpful for you. That's why it's like all coaches aren't great, because they have in their mind how they think that you're going to be successful, and they don't understand, like truly understand your business model. They're trying to clump everything together. And it's somebody who's trying to get me to do subscriptions, but I'm like, this is information that they may need 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. And it's like, oh, well, when they need it, they'll come back and they'll pay for it to get access to it. At least you're getting that all the time. And I get that, but it just doesn't sit well with me. So my classes are reasonably priced where you get unlimited access to it. Once you pay for a class, it is yours. We provide the playback in 2 different manners. One of the manners, it will never go away. You will literally forever have access to it unless something crazy happens with that particular platform. Yes, I never understood folks going crazy with putting designs on the flip-flops. The person's big sweaty foot is covering it up. Yeah. Thank you. You're 100% correct. So either the protocols, how do I book through the website? Yes. So it's basically just the business one-on-one calls. I need to put that where it's easier to find. I'll work on that this week. But just if you at least email me, I can always send you an invoice or like just send you the link directly to it. So if you email me at theprofessor@hsink365.com, theprofessor@hsink365.com. Let me know. Also send me like your availability. Then I'll pretty much, send you the invoice or send you to where you can book it and we can set up the Zoom session. Incredible afternoon. Later. All right. I have to go to Florida Flex. Don't know how in the world it happened, but there was absolutely no adhesive on the back of my sister's DTF prints, like some of them, like no adhesive. Don't know how that happened. So I got to go take her stuff over to Florida Flex. It's been an hour ago. I said we were almost done. We've been on here for a whole nother hour. It's now 2 hours and 30 minutes that we've been on. But I also haven't been on live. So I knew this was going to kind of sort of happen. I haven't been on live in almost 2 weeks. So all right. So I am out of here. Visit our website, shop.hsink365.com. That is where you're going to find our amazing sublimation paper and ink, access to our classes that you have forever access to. Resources, there's files there. We have our template vault where I add, and when I say template, they're not design templates. They are templates. Like when y'all are asking, what's the size? What's the measurements? That's what a template is. And so they're more like measurement templates. There are some that still have like color and things you have to add to it and know how to design in it. But all those are there. All of our grad fans, the ones for stoles, yard signs, like there's so much there for 8365. And I'm always, adding to it. So, thanks. You're right. I am a newbie. Yeah. So that's kind of the things when it comes to that, like the kind of like the terminology. I'm trying to think, what do I have that might be like because see, even with this, right? Some people will be calling this a shadow, like the things around it. And that's just offsets. Those are not shadows around it. Those are offsets. There's a shadow in her name, like behind her name. I'm sure you can see like that gray. That is a shadow. But the 3D effect, I don't think I have anything over here that's really in 3D effect. Although we have done some before. I'm trying to think. I don't think. Let me see. Is there a 3D effect? Not quite on this one. But all of these were designed in Silhouette Studio. Both of these were fully designed in Silhouette Studio. So when you're asking for a design program that is reasonable, this design program is free. You can't beat free and be able to create amazing designs like this. This one is a whole Barbie box. Like how the front of Barbie box look, how the back of it will look with consumer stuff and all sorts of things. All done. Now, the certain elements comes from different places, but all of it pretty much was put together in Silhouette Studio. All right. Do you have a private session for one-on-one on our website? I do, but I highly recommend that you email me first. Let me know what it is that you're wanting the one-on-one session for. Some people will say that they want a one-on-one session to learn like designing or learn Silhouette Studio. When it comes to that, there's only so much that you're going to learn an hour. So you can either pay me $50 to $75 for a session to go over a small portion, or you can pay $100 for a program that gives you, in the first part of it, it was 30 days. That's 40, oh, well over 40 hours in the first one, breaking all of it down. You have time to we have, we do like I do, we do, you do, kind of like type of setup, and you're going to be able to like click on it. And then we just did a refresher, which was 13 weeks, each of these sessions averaging an hour and a half to 3 hours long. And there was 13 weeks of this. Not only was there the refreshers, we did study hall sessions every single week. So we had these sessions where people could ask questions, all that for one price. And it's worth way more than $103.65. Every time a coach or someone, they see that and they're like, there's no way, you should be charging more. I also know my audience. And the average person who's starting out, you need the information that's in my classes. But until you at least get a little bit of it for you to apply it to make money, you're going to always see that, oh man, it's too much. It's not directly making you money like the machines or the printers are, but you need that information. So I keep it real affordable because there's always going to be more that you need. I have some people that have spent well over $3,000-$4,000 in my classes because they've literally taken every single class that I've ever offered. So I try and keep it affordable for you. So you can do a one-on-one session. I have people do that. Like whenever we're doing that, it's usually for one specific thing. I don't like to go over and say, oh, well, teach me Silhouette in a session because there's so much. And when I've tried to do that, I'll explain what they'll say, okay, this is what I want to learn. I'll do it. Oh, but wait a minute. What about? Well, that's not, you told me this is what you wanted to learn. Now you want to go in a little bit deeper. Learning the program and learning to design and how to apply it are two different things. So when you go into a program where you're getting how the tools work, and then on the back end or taking a class on design, now it's pulling all of it together. That's different. So I do offer one-on-one sessions, just depends on what it is. I prefer them when it's like business stuff, like, hey, help get me on the right track. Help me figure out my thoughts and what all I should do or whatever. Or people will do sessions where it's like, okay, this is the design I'm trying to create. Help me pick the right font. How do I search the images? Or this is the picture that the person gave me. I'm confused on how, like, this quality. Should I be using? Should I ask them something else? So it's normally for something specific when people are booking one-on-one sessions with me, and not just, hey, I just want to learn how to design. I want to learn how to do X, Y, and Z. Hey. You weren't in class yesterday. Were you? I don't remember seeing your name. Were you in class yesterday? I don't remember seeing your name. Yes, my love. What happened, Shawnee D? I got a hole in my dress. I don't remember seeing your name. And I don't remember you talking to me. Normally, I'm going. I mean, they can close no time soon. See, my purse is going on. I just happened to see somebody and I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't see her in class. You were out celebrating. It was your birthday? What you celebrating? It was your birthday? Hold on, let me go over here. Let me see. I missed the birthday. Did you tell us it was gonna be your birthday? What you were celebrating? Let me go in here and look. No, let me see. I don't see nobody saying happy birthday to you. Okay, so I'm gonna stop being nosy because it wasn't a birthday. Because anybody saying happy birthday, so okay, you were out celebrate with somebody. Okay, you're forgiven. All right, all right, y'all. Let me get up out of here. I'm being nosy now. Oh, you were doing some clocks. Oh, okay. Oh, that was in 2023. I was like, why I see them other people paper. I'm just playing with you. But all right. Oh, your Zani Mani's, oh no, Zani Mani's is in 2 weeks. Zani Mani's birthday is the 19th. So all right, y'all. Until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.